Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Erin Patterson.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. As always, tell your friends. Now, don't forget, got surgery coming up. So, actually, at this point, I'm already done. Oh.
Nope.
Oh, I got one more.
No, you would. Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
So, at this point, if you're watching this video, I'm already laid up.
Yes, he's in recovery.
I'm in recovery.
True. Yeah.
So, we're doing one episode a week for the next few months, like 3 months.
And last episode, we decided it's going to be Wednesdays.
Yep.
Which is different for us.
Wednesdays. And, yep. So that's where we're at.
So for sure, make sure you've clicked the notification in whatever platform you're using, because that way you're reminded that something's uploaded because it's different now.
Yes. Yes. And, follow us on TikTok and all that stuff, because we're actually fixing to phase out a couple of platforms because they're just not really doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to stick with the main ones.
Yeah.
And, because, we've been doing it, was this our second year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years now. And you kind of see what works and doesn't work. And there's just some of them that's just like,
yeah.
They just don't get very much traction.
True story.
So anyway, sorry for rambling and everything.
The people need to know.
We'll put a little timestamp to say, hey, fast forward to this and nothing else. So,
or we'll just let you go.
Yeah, we'll just let you listen to us, because you know what? You love listening to us.
You do. That's why you're here.
All right, on with the story.
Okay, this one for sure caught my attention, even though it's way far away. It's a trial that just went down under in Australia. It's been running, or it was running, alongside the Karen Reed trial here in the States, but this one went a little longer. It was like some 11 weeks or so of trial, and there were no cameras, of course. So we had to go off of like daily updates. There's a podcast called Mushroom Case Daily where they gave daily updates, and also, of course, there were some news stations that covered it. So let's talk about what we learned. Erin married Simon Patterson in 2007, but they split up for good in 2015. Well, Erin had the belief that they would eventually get back together. So for her, it wasn't really over all the way, I guess. So she had literally put both of her houses in Simon's name. Like his name was on both of them. And being together for that long and having 2 kids meant that they were going to stay in each other's lives regardless. Erin was still close with Simon's parents too. And she invited Simon, his parents, who were Gail and Dawn, both 70 years old, Gail's sister, 66-year-old Heather, and her husband, 68-year-old Ian, to have lunch at her house to discuss something important on July 29th of 2023. Now, the night before, Simon decided he wasn't going to go. And while that upset Erin, she had the lunch anyways with the in-laws. To make it special, Erin made everyone an individual beef Wellington, fancy, and sent her kids off to see a movie, because at the lunch, after everyone ate, Erin told the group that she had cancer and would be having surgery in September, so very soon. She needed to know if she should tell the kids.
So she needed to have a plan.
Right.
Basically.
Because with a cancer diagnosis, that's starting a whole journey.
Yeah.
Luckily, she had people who loved those kids and were willing to help out. Her own family was not able to for various reasons. Either they had passed away or they were not in the area. So she was really relying on the in-laws. And you could kind of get the feeling for Erin's state of mind at this time, because when Simon canceled the night before, he said he just didn't want to go. He felt weird about it. And she texted him, quote, "I've spent many hours this week preparing lunch for tomorrow, which has been exhausting in light of the issues I'm facing, and spent a small fortune on beef eye fillet to make beef Wellington because I wanted it to be a special meal, as I may not be able to host lunch again like this for some time. It's important to me that you're all there tomorrow and that I can have the conversation that I need to have," end quote. So she was stressed. And Simon thought this was weird because she never invited people over for parties or dinners or anything like that. But She had the lunch, and the morning after, Ian, Heather, Gail, and Dawn were in the hospital. Heather and Gail would sadly pass away August 4th, and Dawn would end up dying the next day on August 5th.
What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
That beef Wellington.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about what came out in court, and I'll tell you.
Wow.
Simon and Erin had a hit and miss relationship, breaking up and getting back together. Erin was always the one to leave when that happened, according to Simon, until they finally split in 2015. But even then, they shared the kids, saw each other at church, and even took trips together. He says Erin was smart and witty. That's what attracted him to her. And as I mentioned before, she was also close to Gail and Dawn. Her and Dawn shared a love of science, and Dawn flew planes. So as the kids got older, her son started taking flying lessons too. But things changed in 2022. According to Simon, they had always stayed married on paper, but there was a miscommunication with his accountant, and he had listed himself as separated for the first time. Now, when you do that, it affected Erin's marriage benefit. So she had been getting this benefit because she was married, and now that he said separate, it fucked it all up. That's a bad deal. Simon said he had debated having to get a mediator involved because now Erin had become so aggressive. So Erin filed for child support. She's like, fine, I'll get my money the other way. She was part of a true crime Facebook group, and she wrote to them, his mom was horrified I claim child support. Why isn't she horrified that her son is such a deadbeat that I had no choice but to claim? Whoa. Now, she was awarded child support and was allocated a whopping $38 a month.
For 2 kids?
For 2 kids.
How much does it cost to live there?
Maybe we need to check out Australia.
Good night.
But keep in mind that she had money. Her mom passed away in 2019, and she inherited money from that. Then her grandmother passed away in 2000, and grandma had a lot of commercial properties that were sold off, so Erin inherited money from that as well. She had even loaned a few of Simon's siblings about $400,000, letting them set the terms on it. Like she didn't charge them interest, just inflation, and they could decide when they would pay it back. So she was very lax about it. She had just built a new house in Leongatha. She wasn't hurting for money. She had 2 houses. So when the lunch guests came to the house that day, none of them had even been in this house before because it was brand new. She gave everyone a tour of the house before they ate, except the pantry. Ian said it was kind of weird that she didn't let anyone go into or look at the pantry. And it was surprising that she had invited them all to lunch because she had been talking shit about them on her Facebook group. Of course, they didn't know that at the time, but she was saying that they wouldn't get involved with her and Simon's shit because they didn't know Simon's side of the story, saying, quote, his family, I swear to fucking God, I want nothing to do with them, so fuck them, end quote. Now, when they read those quotes in court, she said that she was just venting. She had never, should have tried to involve them in her and Simon's business to begin with. She understands that now, but at the time she was just frustrated. Anyway, Ian, the one who survived the lunch, says that she told them that she had found a lump on her elbow. It was diagnosed as cancer, and she was going to have surgery in September. She needed to know if she should tell the kids or not, right? So that's why they were there. So they told her, yeah, we'll be here for you. They prayed for her. It was a big deal. Now, she had been a fundamentalist atheist, but Simon had converted her apparently to Baptist. He took her to church where Ian was giving a sermon, and she just saw the light one day.
It just clicked for her.
I guess. But if you asked the Facebook group, she was still saying that he was a Baptist and she was an atheist. So I don't know how well those prayers went for her that day. I think she is actually a habitual liar.
Maybe she just had questions.
Well, then that would be agnostic. Anyways.
Maybe she was confused.
She's definitely confused. But after lunch, they all left and then raved about the lunch to friends and family. It was so delicious. It was perfect. I've never had beef Wellington before. It was a big deal. Each person had their own individual Wellington with a mushroom sauce on top.
With the mushroom sauce.
She had set some aside for her kids that they ate later, and her 14-year-old son said it was the best meal he had ever had. Now, according to Ian, she wouldn't let anyone help get lunch prepared. He said she plated all the food, and then they were allowed to take their plate to the dining room table. That was pretty much it. He says they all ate off of large grayish dinner plates, but Erin ate off of a smaller, lighter colored plate. Now, I will say that in the police photos, they took a picture of her plates in her drawer, and she had a set of black plates, but she did have one funky plate that stuck out. It was, I believe, made by her daughter when she was in kindergarten or something, but it was brightly colored with multiple colors. So it's definitely a plate that looks completely different from all the other plates. That evening, Gail and Dawn had started to feel sick. They vomited and had diarrhea throughout the night. The next morning, they texted Heather and Ian and found out that they were sick too. Now, Gail and Dawn had to call an ambulance to come and take them to the hospital, while Simon drove Ian and Heather to a different hospital because there was capacity issues at the time. Heather mentioned the plate colors to Simon on the way to the hospital, asking if Erin needed crockery. So now you have two people that have talked about these different plates that they're eating off of. Both hospitals were thinking that all four of them had gastroenteritis. They had some delayed symptoms, though, and suddenly were showing abnormal damage to their livers. So the doctors started putting two and two together, suspecting poisoning by death cap mushrooms.
Really?
Yes.
Wonder where they all ate the mushrooms at.
Right? Let's draw a big arrow.
Might have been that mushroom gravy.
Mm-hmm. So they discussed moving them all to the same hospital for treatment because Gail and Dawn were originally isolated because they didn't know what they had and if it was contagious. They didn't know what was happening. So now it's 2 days after the lunch, right? It's July 31st at 8:05 a.m. when Erin strolls into an urgent care, complaining of gastro problems and requesting IV fluids. But at this point, the doctors had already had their revelation. So as soon as she said her name, they're like, "Oh, we've been expecting you." Now that threw her off. She's like, "Oh, wait, what?" They tell her that there's been a suspicion of death cap mushroom poisoning, and she needed to be admitted. Erin was having none of that, so she left AMA, or against medical advice, at 8:10. She was there for a total of 5 minutes. She said she needed to go get things in order, and she would be back in 30 minutes. When she wasn't back by 9:25, the doctor called 000. Now that's Australia's 911. Because at this point, Dawn and Gail are in ICU. Things were getting way worse. The doctors had also told her that she needed to get the kids out of school and bring them in to be evaluated too, but she said that would just scare them. Lady? He told her that they could either be alive and scared or they could be dead. You choose.
Yeah.
She did eventually come back and she was fine. She was actually discharged the next day. They did test the leftovers at the hospital and they were positive for death caps. So they asked her, "Where'd you get these mushrooms that you used in this lunch?" She said it was either Woolworths or a Chinese grocer. Man, words are hard. She couldn't remember which one, but no one could track down any death cap mushrooms in any of the grocery stores. Now, I already told you that sadly Heather, Dawn, and Gail did pass away from this, but Ian was extubated on August 15th and discharged to rehab September 11th to finish recovery.
He barely made it out alive.
Literally.
Yeah.
Because it shuts down all your organs. So he luckily got the antidote in time, but the rest of them did not. Now let's take a break to hear from today's sponsor real quick.
Did you hear what happened last night at the laundromat?
No, what?
Some clothespins held up a couple of shirts.
Oh, God. That's a good one. Now, when it's cold outside, do you like to pull out a pair of warm sweatpants straight from the dryer and put them on?
Yeah, it's nice and cozy.
Wouldn't you rather do that at home and not in a laundromat?
Oh, God.
If you live in an apartment and need a washer and dryer that only you can use, get a pin.
You can go to My Laundry Solutions, the #1 choice for washers and dryer rental.
They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Springfield, Joplin, and Kansas City, Missouri, Sherman, Dallas, Houston, and Lubbock, Texas. Their newest location is in Fort Worth, They have more locations opening in Texas in 2025 and 2026. No credit check, free service, professional installation, and your account's available online, all for about $1 a day. Go to your leasing office, go to mylaundrysolutions.com, or call 800-535-4411.
Stop being taken to the cleaner and give them a call today. Check out My Laundry Solutions.
Check them out. So let's talk about what we learned in trial, because Erin was investigated and arrested for the attempted murder for Ian and for the murder of Gail, Dawn, and Heather. When she was evaluated at the hospital, they said she was moderately dehydrated and appeared to have a gastrointestinal type illness. Her medical records didn't show any illness prior to that, because remember, she didn't show up at the hospital till 2 days later. But her records also didn't show a cancer diagnosis. So what about that surgery she was supposed to have in September? Don't you think they'd notice that she didn't have surgery? She was actually planning a surgery, but it was for gastric bypass. And she didn't want to tell people that. So she said it was cancer. Okay. And since she liked all the attention that she had gotten in the past for health issues, she decided to Google ovarian cancer so that she could get information to tell the lunchgoers that that's what she had. Now, she did admit this on the stand, and we know that she did this for sure. Like, they have the Google searches and everything. She's like, yeah, I did it. She said she was sick starting the night of the lunch, which was Saturday. She had diarrhea. She also threw up a bit, but that was due to a separate issue stemming from her childhood. She sometimes binge eats until she gets sick. And she said after the guests left the lunch, she ended up eating 3/4 of a cake until she threw up. Anyways, she said she had her bowel issues all the way up to when she went to the hospital on Monday morning. She came in and asked for an IV because she was dehydrated from having to use the bathroom every 20 minutes. Now, when she was only there for 5 minutes and then she left, she said she went home to get her lambs and her dog taken care of, and then she made her daughter a ballet bag, and then she went back to the hospital. So that's what took her so long. She was getting her animals situated. They found out that Erin had taken her son to his flying lesson on Sunday. So that's the day after the lunch, and she drove him to a lesson that was over an hour away. So she was having to use the bathroom every 20 minutes. How do you manage to drive a couple of hours plus sit through a flying lesson? I mean, come on. Erin says, well, I had to pull over at one point, run into the woods, and use the bathroom. She put it in a dog poo bag and then put it in her handbag.
Sure.
Then she stopped at a convenience store and went into the bathroom to dispose of it. They did find surveillance footage of her at the store, but she only spent 9 seconds in the bathroom, meaning whatever she threw away must not have required her to wash her hands, you nasty. But in court, her son said he doesn't remember them stopping on the side of the road or his mom going into the woods.
So she was probably dumping evidence.
Because what else are you doing in there for 9 seconds?
Yeah.
Right. And if you have diarrhea, unless you go into the bag, you're not going to get it in there. It's not like you can pick it up.
Yeah.
And you're like, you went into the woods. Why would you even pick it up? That's like compost. It's fine. Leave it. The animals do. It's okay. So none of that story made sense. They find out that Erin had bought a food dehydrator in April. Now, Erin will originally say that she did not own a food dehydrator, but she had posted pictures of it on Facebook in that group, and they found the dehydrator in a tip, which is what we would call like a waste disposal place. There's actual surveillance of her putting the dehydrator in the tip a couple of days after everyone got sick. It had her fingerprints on it, and there were remnants of death cap mushrooms in it.
Of course.
There was a big debate as to where in the hell these mushrooms came from, right? She's telling the family, the doctors, the cops that she had gotten button mushrooms from Woolworths and dried mushrooms from the Chinese grocer. So she's saying it had to be one of those places. But remember, they couldn't find any. They tested all these things. She would eventually come out and say that she had started foraging for mushrooms during COVID. Her kids say that they don't ever remember her foraging in the wild. Ever. She did.
God dang.
Yes.
Her kids are like screwing her.
Yes. Well, they're telling the truth.
Exactly. I mean, it's like they're kids are like, Mom never did that.
She didn't do that. Yeah. She wasn't out in the wild.
She's like, oh, I'm just an outgoing person. No, she's not.
No, she's not.
I love to hike. She don't love walking. I love riding my bike. She ain't never rode a bike in her life.
Exactly. She's that lady.
Shit like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's also telling on herself because she posted in that Facebook group that she dehydrated and ground mushrooms and would put them in the food that her kids ate. Once she said she put them in brownies and the kids didn't even notice. Mm-hmm. So they believe that she absolutely did that with death cap mushrooms and put it in that beef Wellington and then served it to the lunch guests. But conveniently left out death cap mushrooms in the one that she ate and fed to the kids. So that would be why everyone got an individual beef Wellington. Because remember, those kids ate those leftovers. But she said that they didn't like the mushroom sauce. So before she fed it to them, she scraped off the mushroom paste.
But they didn't get sick.
Not at all. But that piece of leftovers that they were looking at in the hospital surveillance footage tested positive for it. So again, where would she have been foraging for these? So, okay, now she's like, okay, so maybe I foraged them on accident. The answer lies in the electronics. She visited a website called iNaturalist. People can take pictures of things like flora and fauna and upload them with the location where they found it.
Okay.
There were 2 uploads on this website of death cap mushrooms, and her data from her phone shows her going to at least one of these locations. The first search warrant was served on her house, so they had to go get the electronics, right? They didn't take, let me tell you. There were 3 phones and a tablet that they talked about in the trial. You have phones A, B, and C. They know that one SIM card went from phone B to phone A and then to phone C. So she's playing musical SIM card.
Okay.
Erin testified that phone B was her personal phone. This is the phone I use all the time. But that from February to May, her son had it. So when he got it, he factory reset it. In May, he dropped it in the mud and it stopped working. So he gave it back to her and got a different phone that worked. But she was able to dry that phone out. So she started using it on August 2nd. So she's like, this is her way of saying, I only used that phone after the lunch because it didn't start working until then. This was like her way of saying, this is why I'm swapping these SIM cards. This is why these phones are all being used at different times. Now, she did end up having the phone number changed on that phone B after she started using it because she said that Simon allegedly was harassing her about poisoning his parents. I wonder why. So now there's a reason why she had to change the number. So she's got a reason why she had to change the SIM card. She's got a reason why she had to change the phone number. Either way, the phone was factory reset again on August 2nd. So, okay, she's like, okay, well, that's when I started using it. But then it was to reset again on the 5th. Now keep in mind that August 5th is the first time that the cops served the search warrant on her house. And she admitted to resetting that phone while the cops were there serving a search warrant because it had pictures of mushrooms and the dehydrator on it.
So she was destroying the evidence.
Yes. At first she's all like, oh no, I was just swapping phones. Mm-hmm. I was just doing this. And now she's like, okay, yeah, it had incriminating evidence on it. So I was factory resetting it every 2 seconds if I could. She was trying to make for sure that it all got deleted because like I said, she factory reset it while they were there. And then she gave it to them. This is my regular phone. She hands them the phone. They take it and they leave. She factory reset that phone again remotely while it was at the police station. So she keeps factory resetting this phone, trying to delete as much information as possible.
God dang.
Yes. Now phone A was sitting in a windowsill in the police photos that they took of her house, but they didn't take that phone. Don't ask me why, because I couldn't tell you. Phone C was a Nokia phone that was in a basket at the house. And the police made a note of it, cell phone in basket. But they did not take that phone either. Now, what she had told the police, right, was that phone B was her everyday phone. But now they say that the SIM card that was in that phone before they got there had actually been taken out. And she had taken a SIM card from the tablet and put it in the phone. And then was like, here you go. Gotcha. And they know this because when they pulled the records, there's no phone call logs. There's no text logs, you know, things that are phone specific. There's only like searches and games and things like from a tablet. So it's like, we can tell you didn't use this as a phone. This SIM card definitely was in a tablet. There's also a picture of her at the hospital showing her phone in a pink case laying there on the bed. That is believed to be phone A. And that is the phone that she did the mushroom research on when she was looking at iNaturalist and she was doing all that. It came from that phone. And that phone was never found. So she cheated them, was like, here's this phone, it's my regular phone, and then destroyed the real phone. And they did find emails where she was setting up a new phone on the 3rd and 4th of August. So she was preparing. She was getting ready. And because police were at their house on the 5th. They went back on November 2nd, so months later, and found 3 laptops that they say weren't there the first time. Now, I don't put too much into that because they left 2 phones behind the first time, and they were out in plain sight. So there's a pretty high chance that they missed those laptops too.
Yeah, no telling what all they missed.
We'll never know. And she was asked about her phone data, showing that she went to the Lock Reserve, which is one of those locations where the iNatural website listed having death cap mushrooms. That was posted on April 28th of 2023, so it was definitely before the lunch. She stayed there for about an hour. Okay. And then she was back in the area on May 22nd for 34 minutes. So she went there 2 times, not just 1 time. She said she wasn't even there in April, so she doesn't know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
But she did admit that April 28th just happened to be the day she bought that dehydrator. So funny that she was buying a dehydrator on the same day she was foraging for death cap mushrooms. Okay. In May, she said that she was just picked up by a nearby cell tower, that she didn't actually go to the reserve. So she's like, no, I never went out there. Even to this day, she's like, I never went out there and got those mushrooms. She said that Simon had asked her at the hospital if she used her dehydrator to poison his parents. And she thought that if he could come to that conclusion, other people could too. So she panicked and tried to get rid of anything that would show her mushrooms or her dehydrator. So she's like, I wasn't doing it because I was guilty. I was doing it because I figured they would think I was guilty. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They also bring up that she bought twice as many mushrooms from Woolworths than what she needed for her recipe. They know that the recipe called for 700 grams or 1.54 pounds of mushrooms, but she bought 1.75 kilograms or 3.85 pounds, so twice as many. Also, Erin's son had told them that Erin told him that Dawn and Gail were sick on Sunday morning, but she wouldn't have known that yet. So she was foreshadowing. What do you call that? She was seeing into the future. The place that she had an appointment to get the gastric bypass surgery, remember? They find out that they don't do gastric bypass surgery. So they're like, you're even lying about your lie? What is happening? So when she was asked about that on the stand, she said she was actually going to look into other stuff like lipo. But she ended up canceling her appointment 2 days before she was supposed to go. Either way.
You know, I just can't get over the fact that she fed it to the kids.
Right.
She obviously knew, that they wouldn't get sick.
She had to know that what they were eating was not going to make them sick.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would you feed it to them? Why take the chance?
Yeah.
Now, she said she'd scrape the sauce off, but wouldn't you have worried that it permeated the meat? Like, I'd be worried that it even got close to my kids' food. Like, I wouldn't take the chance.
Yeah.
Another big thing for a lot of people was motivation. It definitely wasn't money. She's in the news and on the stand talking about how much she loved the lunchgoers and how well they all got along. But what is she going to say? That they were arguing lately? That she was telling her Facebook group, fuck them? No, she's not going to say that. Either way, the trial was long, but the jury deliberated for 6.5 days. Like, that's a long deliberation. But on July 7th of 2025, so not too long ago, the other day, they came back with a guilty verdict on all counts. Now, she hasn't been sentenced yet, but she is looking at life, of course. Reportedly, when she was being taken away from the courthouse, some people were outside yelling murderer at her. There was also a news report I came across. I don't know the validity of this. I'm just saying what I saw on the news. But there was a report that someone that was an inmate, a fellow inmate of hers, where she's been incarcerated, got sick and immediately was saying that Erin did something to their food. So I don't think she'll be allowed to work in the kitchen at her new home. She's going to be banned from that kitchen. So you think they got it right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to make me look at beef Wellingtons totally different from now on.
What's in this sauce, buddy?
Yeah. What'd you do to this?
Where'd you get these mushrooms?
Yeah, I'm going to question everything now.
You should.
I'll be like, I didn't order with that.
You're like reading the menu and you're like, without that sauce. Don't let that sauce anywhere near
Even
my
like a mushroom Swiss burger. I'm like,
No.
No.
Please no.
No.
That's a heavy no. Heavy no. Yep. So there we are. This is, like I said, she didn't get sentenced yet, so we'll probably do a quick update when she does get sentenced. But for now, that's all there is on this one. So if you like our content, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get notified when our new episodes drop.
Yep. And as always, don't forget to tell your friends because you know what? They deserve to see us too.
You didn't put that at the beginning, and I was worried.
Yeah.
We got it.
All right. Until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Bye.